you, all my friends. It's good to be with you. I am Tarun Goyal. I did BCom Honours from Shriram College of Commerce and I finished my graduation in 2017. So, in that process, I was just doing chartered accountancy and I did chartered accountancy till IPCC. And then I decided to appear for civil services and I appeared in civil services examination in 2017 itself. And fortunately, I went through in first attempt. And after getting All India rank 514, I joined in Ministry of Railways. Currently, I'm almost to complete my probation period, and I'm supposed to be posted in June in Northern Railways. So I'm working currently in the capacity of an IRPS officer, that is Indian Railways Personnel Service. So that's a brief about me, and hoping to have a good discussion with you.
So that's perfect, Tarun. Thank you so much for the introduction. I think a lot of people in this room are having issues, because I think there's echoing. So I'm so sorry, Tarun. We are just looking into this and we'll just try to solve this as soon as possible.
Of course, it's perfect. Take your time.
Perfect. Yeah. So, guys, I get it. Sounds good now. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. So, yes. So, Tarun, now coming to some of the questions that we had, we wanted to discuss with you. So, first of all, we have a lot of aspiring CAs, who have joined this particular call, and we wanted to know on how you managed, studying. You studied, you were in college, and at the same time, you were doing a CA. How did you manage doing both at the same time, and what was that pull that you had to reach where you are currently?
So actually, the thing is that when I was doing chartered accountancy with my college, and I had to travel also from my home, so it used to take 4 hours during travel. But then, what made me do that was that the purpose was very much clear. So I think that clarity when you have of the mission which you are pursuing, it's just that matters. When you have that, so the priorities becomes very clear. So at that point of time, I knew that I need not even read much newspapers, so I didn't do that while I was doing chartered accountancy. So the priorities were very clear, and then the purpose also became clear. So I think firstly, knowing why you want to do something is important. After that, everything becomes easy.
Okay, okay, that's great. So, how did you go about, again, the question comes down to how did you manage doing both? Because time management plays a very important role when you are, handling two or multiple things at the same time. Now, how did you manage your time? How did you prioritize things into your livelihood, I would say, for those couple of years while you were doing your college and your CA course?
Yes. For time management, I would say two, three things. One thing is to find out where your time is going. So if you are finding out that you are not able to find enough time in the day, so what you can do is that you can keep a diary and keep a record of where your entire time is getting spent. So once you do that for 1 2 days, you will realize that, for example, if you are spending these days too much time into social media, or let's take in on unproductive things. So what you can do is that you can just put off the notifications of your phone, and what you can do is that, for example, you can, if there is too much pressure on time, you can just find out the spaces in your day where you can use. For what I used to do is I used to travel a lot in the metro, but in metro it was not possible to carry the big books. So I used to tear apart my all books and I used to carry some loose 10 20 pages every day and try to read that. So I think that breaking your entire task into smaller pieces, and then when you are doing that task, the most important thing is that do not think anything else. डोंट थिंक कि मेरा बहुत काम और भी पड़ा है और मुझसे होगा या नहीं होगा. At that point of time when you are doing something, just do that only. So I think that plays the most important part. because most of the time we keep on thinking about the things, but we don't do that. And that's the beautiful trick which mind plays with us. So that's, I think, we need to guard ourselves against our own mind. That's the only thing.
That's really inspiring, Tarun. I mean, I've just heard very few people doing what you have currently done. Like, for instance, tore your books into pieces so that you could, so that you don't have to carry much, and at the same time, in those 4 hours, you could cover as much as possible. I think that's really inspiring, and what a lot of people have to learn from you. Um, uh, on what kind of inspired you to take from a CA route to becoming someone towards the civil services, because I feel to a certain extent that it's two separate routes that generally people either take one of them. So what made you decide that after such a hectic course like CA, that you would go into an even more difficult course like the preparation for civil services?
Yeah, that's interesting because I was very much sure that I want to be a chartered accountant, and I even secured All India rank 17 into that. But then what happened that I got a break of 7 8 days, and then I realized that my dream was not chartered accountancy ever, because I realized that in school times, what I used to do is that I used to think about societal issues. That someday I'll look into the issue of child labor. Someday I will help the people in this manner. If road is getting tear apart, I will think that why corruption is there. So I was very much concerned about those issues, which I realized. Then I made a decision in those 7 days of leave which I was having after third semester of college. I just decided that CA is not the right path for me. I mean, and also the thing is that I was eligible to give this examination at the end of the 3 years, because I was supposed to be 21 years, so which I was about to be. So I decided to directly pursue my dream, because what I found was that CA would not help me to get there better way. So the thing is, why to be late in realizing your dreams, whatever you have? Just pursue them right now. So that's what I decided, that my dream is not working for any corporate or earning a lot of money, because in CA there is you can earn a lot if you go higher and higher, and also there was an opportunity to work with great companies like Big Four. So, but I decided that I want to work with the government of India. So, and with the ground level. So that's why I decided to directly jump into civil service and completely leave CA.
Okay, okay, that's really amazing. So now, did you by any chance have someone as a role model throughout your period, that is the transitioning to become a civil service personnel? Did you get inspired by anyone as such?
Actually, not, because unfortunately, I am actually my family. There is no one in the government service, and there was no charm for government services in my family. And another stuff was that I was not in touch with many people in college, so I did not have any mentor, or I did not have any. I didn't have even any role model whom I wanted to become like. I just wanted to do some stuff which I thought was meaningful, particularly
Sorry, Tarun. Please, seat number 8. Can you mute yourself?
yeah.
Thank you so much. Yep.
No issue. So exactly what happened was that I didn't have any role model, but then my mission was clear, because I thought that my schooling had not been very better. So what I thought, that awareness plays a very important role, and I thought that I should be doing more work on ground and improve the education system a bit. That's why I wanted to join civil services. So I didn't have any role model really.
Hi, Kushal. Is it possible if you can mute yourself, because there's a lot of echoing? Uh, thank you so much, Kush. Hello.
Yes.
Yes. So sorry, Kushal. hear you that properly. So yes, now I'm moving on into two more questions. After which, if anyone in the audience has any questions, they can always put it in, right. So my next question is hi. Yes. Yeah. Perfect. My next question is, how did you, while you're preparing for your, for your civil services, what were the key things that you looked at in terms of, so you time management is one thing, because civil services is a very vast thing. You have things like obviously, like you have the IFS side, IAS side. What kind of inspired you to pick up the Indian Railways, for instance? Is there any drive that you had towards joining Indian Railway Services, or is it that you got that option, you took it up?
Yeah, actually, the thing is, when we take up this examination, most people have aspiration for two, three particular services. Like my aspiration was also first preference was of course Indian administration, and then second was foreign service. And I didn't like IPS, so I put it in the very late, and then I railways was the sixth priority.
Hi, I can hear a lot of echoing. So can everyone else except Tarun please mute yourself? Yes. Yes, Tarun, you can go ahead.
Yes. So actually, we give our own preferences, but then my preference for railways was on sixth or seventh number. So you get your position on the basis of what is your rank and what is your preferences. So coming to railways was practically by default, by virtue of what rank I got. I got All India rank 514. So that's why I got into railways. But after that, you asked me, what did you look for apart from time management? Exactly. I mean, for civil services, the two things which I looked for was one was the strategy, and second was the purpose. So, strategy, what I can discuss later on when you ask specific questions. So, that strategy I looked into what I need to do to clarify the examination and only focused on doing that activities. And apart from that, I looked for the purpose for which I was coming to. That's why I was even so clear. I did not even sit in the placements in the college that I just want to do this. So I think these things helped me out. But then coming to railways, of course, it was a sixth or seventh preference, not definitely the first or second preference.
Okay. Okay, that's really amazing, Tarun. So we have a question by one of our one of our users. Can you please tell how one can clear civil services exams? It's a very broad question. I totally understand, because it's a almost close to a 9 to 10, like almost years of putting in a lot of hard work. But how can one clear that particular exam?
Yeah, I'll take up the questions. I can even read the messages. Someone is asking for backup. Someone is asking for should we go for one subject at a time or multiple? How is life after joining? And I am spending too much time on Netflix like that. So these are the questions.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll definitely take up these questions. And one is asked why civil services? Definitely. All are great questions and I would love to answer. So can I go ahead, Akash?
Yes, yes. You can first start with, how can one prepare or pass the civil services exams?
Yes. So the one thing is how to clear. I'll say it in three, four simple steps. One is that you need to know why you want to do it. That's first question. For example, you need to ask this very why it is very important is that, for example, if you don't get through in first or second attempt, then you should know the reason why you are pursuing this. So first one thing is ask yourself why you want to do it, because you have many options now. You can go to any corporate sector, you can take up any business activity, So you have a lot. So that is first question. Secondly, you find out that what is required to do this examination. For this, I would say you just need not to listen to anyone. You just go into the UPSC website and pull out the notification. So what UPSC does, it issues a notification of examination every time, every 1 year. You read that notification thoroughly. In that, the syllabus is mentioned of what you need to read really, because people say that there is no syllabus for civils, but there is a syllabus. So you read the syllabus very thoroughly from UPSC and then go to the past year papers. I would say you analyze the papers from 2013 till now. You will get a sense what they are asking, and then the third step is then you make a strategy of how you can do that. You can do that by going into the YouTube, and you just go onto the YouTube, find out that what toppers are saying. You can just listen to 10 or 15 toppers, what they refer to. They will tell you the book list. Once you have the book list, you what you do is you just purchase one book at a time and then finish it off. And the most important part is, of course, the current affairs, which you can pick any one newspaper like the Hindu, and you go on to that. And you can utilize mostly the online sources, which I will be referring later on. So you need not to join any coaching. Someone is asking. Definitely not. In present time, you need not to join any coaching. So this is how you crack the civil services or anything in life. Firstly, find out why. Secondly, how, and then what. So these three things are the steps which you need to go through. Yes, Akash.
Okay, okay, that's great. The next question is it okay to study one subject at a time and complete it first and then go to another when it comes to, preparing for UPSC?
Yeah. Actually, friends, there is not any set formula. For example, what I used to do both, because sometimes the thing is some subjects are so difficult or so out of interest that I can hear some sounds in the background actually.
Yeah, even I can hear a lot of noise. It's not from my end because I don't have anyone around. So I think it's Dinakar by any chance. Seat number 8.
Yes.
Okay. No, I can still
So,
hear. Yeah, but you can
yeah,
continue. Yes, yes,
of
definitely.
course. So the thing is that you, for example, some subjects are so difficult that it may not be possible for you to pick with that subject for the whole day. So what I used to do is that for those subjects which you don't like at all, just pick them very very little. That for example you have, let's say, 6 months, like 180 days. So I will do only 3 pages a day, just 3 or 4 pages of that particular subject which you don't like. And if you love that subject, you keep on reading maybe for 1 day, 2 day continuously. So it is very fluid kind of thing. You need not to have any set pattern. If you are liking the subject, finish it off in one go. If you don't like, don't finish it in one go and drag it on. 3 4 pages a day. That's it.
So another question that, and this is personally, I have seen a lot of these preparation people who are preparing, and one question that a lot of them have is current affairs plays a very very important role when it comes to civil services. How do you, because see, it is very difficult to track that in a way, because they can it's something that happens on a daily basis, right? So how did you prepare yourself on that?
Yeah, a very important one. The thing is that for current affairs, just one thing important is you pick only one newspaper at one go. I mean, for interviews, you can read 4, 5, or 10 newspapers. I used to read five. But for prelims and mains, you just focus on one newspaper. I used to read The Hindu in my first attempt. And The Hindu I would read. Then now, how you have to read it? The thing is that if you don't know how to read, now there are many online platforms available. For example, if you go onto the YouTube, you just type Rouse IAS Daily News Simplified. So once you go through that, they will give you the video analysis of every day the Hindu newspaper. Initially, if you don't know how to read the Hindu newspaper, so but what I used to do in that time, such initiative was not there. So I'll just pick up the newspaper, and from past year paper analysis, I know how UPSC asks questions. For example, they would never ask any question in which year what happened in history. These type of question used to be old pattern. Now they would be more interested to know an analytical based question. And the most important thing which helped a lot is that you Google everything. whatever you are reading into the newspaper, do not take anything for granted. Just Google it. For example, I am reading about, let's say, this COVID-19 thing is going on. So, newspaper would not cover everything. Here comes the question of curiosity. You will go on YouTube, ask yourself what I need to know about this thing. So you need to know what is a virus, what is a bacteria, what is the difference, why somebody needs to make a vaccine, and how vaccine works. Can you treat this kind of problem with antibiotic? Why vaccine is not available, what kind of virus it is, and has any kind of virus happened previously. So this is the way you deal with any issue. You need not to remember anything, you just need to
Okay.
understand that, because at the end of the month you will get a magazine from many institutes. Like, you can read Vision IAS Current Affairs magazine, which is freely available on their portal every month. So at the end of the day, you have compilation of the newspaper available with you. So you need not to make any
Okay.
notes per se of newspaper. So that's how you deal with it.
Okay, that's pretty interesting because even for those non-aspirant, people who are not going towards that sector but still wants to, improve on their knowledge, on their because current affairs plays a very very important role in today's world. So yes, that's a very very good thing, and thank you for that. Kushal, possible if you can please mute yourself. I'm really sorry. Sorry, Kushal, we can't hear you at all. It's there's a lot of disturbance. Sorry, Kushal, we can't hear you that well. Can you please mute yourself? There is issue with your seat, or I don't know. Yeah. So sorry, Kushal. I think there is some issue with that particular seat. So now, moving on into the other set of questions that we have. What is the backup if UPSC doesn't work? Tarun, what do you say for those?
Yeah.
Because it's either you get it or you don't get it, right? And I've seen personally, people in my family also who have prepared for UPSC for like 4 5 years, but I mean 3 4 years, and then they do multiple attempts and then they've still not cleared it. What is the backup for such people?
Yeah, actually, it's a very important question. I get it quite often. But what do I say is that two, three things are important. One is that you do not give multiple examinations of government at the same time. This is the one mistake, in my opinion. Of course, I'm not a judge. But then, in my opinion, once we give too many examinations of government, we lose the track. So, in name of the backup, we keep on giving bank examinations, some state services, and UPSC also. Please don't do that, because approach of every examination is very very different. So you may be reading history for the same examination, but then pattern is different. So don't give multiple examinations. Second, I would say is that if you have to look at your socio-economic condition, I mean, for example, I'm from such kind of a family that I cannot sustain more than two attempts if I won't have gotten two. So I would have picked up a job. But rest assured that after reading about this examination, if you even go through mains and go through, just appear in interview once, now you have ample opportunities. Because government, what they are doing, UPSC also would publish your credentials if you appear in interview, so that public sector companies can offer you jobs. And you can be a very good teacher after reading about so much stuff. And even you can work better in the business and also in the corporate, even if you fail one or two attempts, because you will know so much about different thing and how this world operates. So I think you need not to have any backup for one or two attempts, but yes, after that, do not waste your time before getting a job. So I would say you just get a job, and then along with that you prepare. If you fail in one or two attempts, that would be better. That's my sense.
Okay, okay. I think that's very very interesting because it's as he very well said. It's very important to prioritize what is a need right now and then work more towards that. That's something which I diluted from what you had mentioned. Another question that popped up is uh, when applying for when you decide that you want to join the civil services, what are the steps that you need to take? Let it be even a CA, or let it be even just a BTech student, right? So what is the steps that he should take? Because you have a lot of these institutes that you go to, and they just try to launder money, and I've seen that personally also. But then, as an individual who has that capability, what do you think one should work on?
Yeah, actually it's interesting. For example, this is the mistake we commit, and हम first question that we ask is कि अगर मेरे को दिल्ली से मुंबई जाना है, तो मैं पहला सवाल ये पूछता हूँ कि अच्छा मैं प्लेन ले लूँ कि ट्रेन ले लूँ? No, you don't do that, right? आप पहले पता लगाते हो कि दिल्ली and Mumbai, what is the distance? Can I do that on foot? No, I can't do that. Can I do on bicycle? No. Motorbike? No. So what would be suitable? Then you have the option of going through a train or a plane. So the similar thing you do with anything like civils. For example, you do not ask this question first, do I need to join coaching or not? No, you don't do that. Firstly, find out what is required to be done for this examination. If you can do that on your own, better. If you don't, join the coaching. And also in coaching, whatever subjects you don't understand, only attend to those. Don't attend for everything just because you have put in the money. And don't hesitate to come out if you feel that just coaching is just wasting your time. So, as regarding steps are concerned, which I already mentioned, firstly, find out why you want to do. Secondly, go through past year papers and the syllabus multiple times. Thirdly, pick some basic books which you can find out what toppers are saying. Start doing them on your own. If you are finding any difficulty into that, only then you look for any coaching, and only that too for that particular subject you are having difficulty, which you can now very easily refer any online sources. Many sources are available on YouTube, and many coaching institutes are giving subject wise coaching also. So I think that may help. But before straight away coming to the question whether you should join any coaching or not, I don't think it's a good thing.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Tarun, I have got two questions for you.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tanmay. Before going on to your question and Keshiv's question, which we will cover. We had some questions which were asked.
Okay, all right. I'll ask later.
So based on priority, for sure we'll cover your question, Tanmay. Right. There is just a very general question. Which I wanted to, which one of our users has asked. I have to manage my family's financial situation after my college. What do I have to do? Go to work or pursue civil services? So, this is a very broad question again, but what do you have to say about it, Tarun?
I think it's a very important question. I would say that definitely go for the job right now, and because unless your mind is in right frame, you cannot study. So I would say you pick a job, and while you are on the job, work for the civil services. And this is very much possible. I mean, you need not to spend much time for preparation of civil services if you are in right frame of mind. Even if you are doing job, let's say 10 hours a day, 7-8 hours a day, you can definitely have 4 or 5 hours for the studies. So I would say if there is genuinely so much responsibility, you better join a job.
Okay. Okay. Now, adding on into that particular question which I asked, and this is again another question which one of our users has asked, is how do you manage the time when suppose you're working? How do you study at the same time? Because even personally, even I am facing that issue for that instance, right? It's very difficult because you have your pressure at work, because you have deadlines, you have certain targets to meet. At the same time, parallelly you have to prepare for XYZ exam. So, what is your take on this, and how can one can improve on that?
Yeah, studying along with working. See, it is very important, particularly in present time, because we need to upgrade our skills so often. So the thing is that I think the most difficulty which we have is not because we are working, but because the thing we are constantly getting notifications, constantly getting calls. We are getting disturbed so often these days that we are not having any quality time at all. So I would say is that you have to monitor where your time is going. For example, in present times, I would guess For most of us, the time would be going in notifications, clearing them off. But you can find out if you can just switch off all those notifications and just check them at the distance of, let's say, 3 hours when you are bored. Then things would be much more simpler. You will have time for everything. So you have to plan your day accordingly. For example, if you travel, you can read newspapers into that. If you are in such kind of a job where, let's say, you have to go through multiple places, so you can have audio notes. Why? Because you won't have time to read, but you will have time to travel. So you read audio notes of your own. So plan your day according to your own job, which can definitely be done. So that's what I would say.
Okay. Okay. That's great. Now we can go on into the question that Tanmay had for you, and along with that, Keshav. Yes, Tanmay, you can take over.
So my first question to Tarun would be, Tarun, formally, how many number of years did you devote for your UPSC preparation? Number one, and number two, you have appeared in for both CA exams and for UPSC. So what did you find? Where more of slogging is required, and can you please quantify the number of hours which you had put in for both of them? That's it.
Definitely. Yes. Actually, I finished my 12th in 2014, and I was just doing my BCom honors. And in first semester, I gave my CA entrance examination. Into that, I got all India rank 7. And then after 9 months, I gave CA IPCC examination. So I did that. After that, I had 1.5 years left in BCom honors. So in that part, I decided to prepare for civil services. So that is the time which I gave, because in 2017 my graduation was finished in May, sometime 23rd or 24th of May, and in June I gave the prelims examination. So I had very little time to prepare. So this was the last 1 year of my college which I gave along with my BCom, of course. So this is the time which I gave. And then you asked me about where more slogging was required and quantification of hours. The thing is that slogging actually, I mean, it's a bit personal, but then it was more difficult to do chartered accountancy at that time, because I was traveling and I had to travel from my home to college. It used to be 4 hours every day. So, and then I gave both my, I mean, in chartered accountancy, you have 8 papers. I gave in 9 months. So that was the minimum time. And I was doing regular college also. So that was the most difficult phase of my life. And slogging was definitely much more there. And as far as quantification is concerned, of course, I used to read, I mean, 10 hours a day, that I would say. 10 hours a day, I used to definitely study. But then if you, for example, why I used to take more number of hours is because my schooling has been such that I have been in Hindi medium till 10th standard. So my history and geography was very, very weak. So that's why I took more number of hours. But if your schooling, etc., has been very much wonderful, so you will take very, very less number of hours. And for me, newspaper reading was also new. I started reading up English newspaper in third year of my college. So that's why I used to take up more time. You can take less.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
So, like you said that, like for preparing for the UPSC exam, one can see the past papers. So, can you once again repeat the year from which year we can see the past papers?
Yeah, 2013.
2013.
Yes.
Okay. And also, sir, can you just once again repeat one minute, sir, just. So, like you said that in case if someone doesn't know, initially someone finds it difficult to read the Hindu newspaper, can you once again repeat some browse IAS daily? I didn't understand, sir.
Yeah, it is Rouse, RAU. Rouse is the institute's name, and on YouTube you can find RAU Rouse DNS.
Okay.
You just type Rouse Daily The Hindu, you will get it.
Okay, and so like you specified something about the current magazine also, Business IAS. Can you more?
Yeah.
Can you explain about that also, sir?
Yeah, it is. There are many institutes. I referred Vision IAS. It is VISION. Vision.
Okay.
Yes. So you just Google it. You will get at the end of the month. It is free of cost available. You just download it and read it.
Okay, so like after clearing the civil services, we have three options. Now, either we can apply for IAS, IFS, or IPS, right?
Actually, there are many services, not just three. There are 22 or 24 services in this examination. You have, apart from these three services you mentioned, there is income tax, there is IRS officers, customs, and you have revenue officers, and you have other services in defense accounts. You have defense estate services, you have ordnance factory, and such like. And you have audit and account services also, civil account services. So you have 20 to 24 services, not just three services. But these three services are definitely the most popular ones, so that's why.
Okay, so like, may I know like you're in which service?
I'm in IRPS, that is Indian Railways Personnel Service. So it is just like HR manager of Indian Railways, you can say.
Okay, okay.
That's great. So now moving on to the other questions which some of our users had. Um, uh, I, one question which I think we had already covered, but then I think many of them joined a bit late into this is why you left chartered accountancy?
Yeah, I left because I found that it won't serve my purpose. Because chartered accountancy, you do it maybe for a good job or to start your practice, and to have your own firm or to earn a lot of money. I was not interested into that. It's not that after doing CA I couldn't have done it. Many people right now join civil services after doing chartered accountancy. In fact, just now my friend has joined. He's also from SRCC, and he also has completed chartered accountancy as well as company secretary. We have many chartered accountants joining civil services these days. But I found that it will take too long a time, because after BCom I need to devote 3 years in CA. After that I would have done civils. So rather than that, I found it's a shorter route. Just directly give after graduation, and it helps because your concepts are very much fresh in your memory, and you need not to have very high knowledge because in that particular subject. For example, UPSC clearly says that the level of examination of your optionals would be of honors level. So you need the knowledge of an honors degree for your optional paper. So that's why there was no point in completing CA really, and that's why I decided.
Okay. So can we? So there's another question. Can we join defense services having a background in BCom and CA?
Actually, UPSC conducts this combined defense services examination, which can be given after any graduation, just like civils. So you can definitely join defense. And if you want to join defense services, not for defense but for civil administration, you have Defense Estate Services (IDES) and Indian Defense Account Services (IDAS). So you can join these two services also from civil services examination. And you have ordnance factory boards also, so that is also
Okay.
related to defense. So if you
Okay.
want to deal with the civil part of defense, you come through civils. If you want to fight, if you want to have combat and that role, you go through combined defense services. Definitely you can.
Tarun, I have got
And
a question. That which subject did you opt
sorry,
in mains level?
sorry, May. Can
Okay,
we, Tanmay? Okay, you can go ahead with your question. But Tanmay,
it is
it would be
commerce.
great if you could notify before you ask a question, because
Sure, sure.
there's a lot
I
of
get that. I get that.
interruptions, right? Yeah, sure.
I get that.
Okay.
Let me please complete this. And secondly, did CA intermediate give you an edge in the interview while you were facing the interview?
Okay, okay. Actually, I did
And
commerce and
I didn't get
accountancy.
the answer to my first question. I couldn't hear it. That which subject did you opted in mains?
Okay, it is commerce and accountancy.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it is commerce and accountancy. And you asked me whether IPCC gave any help in interview. In interview, really, I mean, any profile helps. But the thing is that they are not looking for your profile. For example, there are some people who have done their degrees from Oxford and from also from New York, but they have not been able to go through. So it is an interview. They are looking for your personality, really, what kind of person you are. So it does not matter really much, I would say. What they are looking for is and what kind of person you are in terms of your value system. So their whole questions are dependent on all these matters.
So,
Yes.
can you also, Tarun, since you just told about the interview aspect, can you throw some more light on, how was your interview experience on, how was the whole interview experience and in general, and then going into how was your interview experience in specific? Because I've
So
heard it's
it's a
one of the very, very beautiful experience for some people and
yeah.
life-changing experience. So, yeah.
Actually, it's you said it right. It's the most amazing experience to have, and the best part of civil services preparation. Because the thing is, after mains, you have so much time, and you can read many books, new books, and you can have new experiences. So there is no pressure really for to prepare for interview. And of course, as regarding interview preparation is concerned, it starts when you fill the DAF. So you are supposed to fill a sort of biodata about yourself that is called detailed application form. So in that you write about your achievements, your areas of interest. So once you mention that, most of the times the questions which the board asks is about yourself, who you are, what are your hobbies, what you have done in your life. So most questions would be related to that, and then you prepare everything regarding current affairs to go into the interview board, because interview panel can ask you most of the questions regarding what is happening right now. So the one area is current affairs. Second area is to prepare about yourself, who you are, right from your name, which area you are in, and what was your village name, etc. Everything. So you analyze your journey a bit before going into interview panel, and just go with a cheerful mood. And as regarding my experience, my interview was taken up by Air Marshal. So Air Marshal Ajit Bhonsle sir, he was my chairman of the panel, and it was an amazing experience. So they would ask me about everything, like what is the meaning of my name, Tarun, and they would ask me, is there anything impossible for you? Then no, I did a debate in black money, which I mentioned. So they would ask me, what is black money? Why we are not able to solve it? Why you got the prize in the debate? Like that, they try to strike a conversation, and the beauty is that you can lead the interview panel by your answers. So I would answer something so that which I in the area I want them to ask me the questions. So like that, the whole discussion went on to the election system of India, then about space achievements of India, and then of course the current affairs. Like they asked me about reservation system, which was given to economically weaker sections. Then of course I made a project on renewable energy, so they would ask me about that, how what was this project, and they asked me about everything on renewable energy. So just like that, they asked me the question, and then my hobby was writing poems, so they asked me to sing a poem which I sang. So so this is the thing which goes on in interview. It's a lovely experience, and what I would say, I was very much calm and relaxed. I was just smiling all the time, so they were also happy, and at the end of the day, it played out well, so it was the best part.
Oh, that's really amazing. I mean, I always, I have a lot of people in my family who are in civil services, and that's a very very apt question, because everyone has a very different experience. I had once one of my cousin who has done his first round, for instance. It went really bad because he took up a topic which contradicted what the panel had, their views on that particular process. So it kind of backfired. But then his second time was more refined, and he kind of killed it there. So yes. So now the question which I wanted to ask is, for those who are in that engineering background, what are the opportunities that they have in the services? Something which is more related to, let's say, computer science or mechanical, or anything like that. Are there any opportunities for such people?
Yeah, actually, one is you can directly give engineering services examination. So for railways, for that matter, there are people who are recruited through engineering services examination and one through civil services examination. Of course, this year the process has been suspended for some reasons, but the thing is, there is huge opportunity. And if you come through civil services, it does not matter which service. I mean, what was your engineering background or commerce background? It does not really matter after joining the service, because after joining, you would be getting 2 years of extensive training from the government. Of course, paid. It is paid. by the government, and so it does not really matter at the end of the day, because you will definitely learn your area of work after joining the service. So any graduation would do, and it really doesn't matter if it is from a good college or not. It does not really matter. What matters is that how have you prepared the topics which are just mentioned for the examination. So that I would say.
Okay, okay. That's pretty interesting. So so this is again a question which we have covered, but let's go back to that because I feel that many people have asked this. When you switch from CA to UPSC, what are the difficulties that you faced while preparing for it? Like, what were the difficulties?
Actually, the difficulties are very individual specific, because it is not that you shift from any course. That's why you had difficulty. There is no difficulty for shifting, but these are just difficulties which you face while you prepare for civils, like how to go through newspaper. Then there is of course a pressure of many books. People tell you, they keep on telling you. You keep on hearing from online sources that you can do this website, that website, many time number of magazines. So the most difficult thing is how to protect yourself, from information overload, and from this sort of these things which operate, that you can't do it. So this kind of feeling you have to overcome, so these are the 2-3 things which are the most difficult.
Okay, okay. So before that, yeah, seat number 7, please mute yourself because there's a bit of echoing because of. Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Uh, what are the kind of trainings that you had during, post getting into the services? After clearing and then you joined the services. What were the trainings that you had?
It's a bit long question. The thing is that
Yeah,
after joining after joining service, you go through foundation course at 3 places. One is Masuri LBS, second is Bhopal, and third is at Hyderabad. So you will be allotted any one of these academies. I was allotted LBS, Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy. But the thing is, you have the option not to go into that training for these 3 months. So you go through that training, and that you would be just generally interacting with all kind of services. There are many cultural programs. After that, you come into your service oriented trainings. For example, I've been allotted railways, so I would be sent to National Academy of Indian Railways, Vadodara, where I am sitting right now. So in National Academy of Indian Railways, you will go through 12 weeks of foundation course, where you would be learning each and every subject of railways. So I would be given understanding of mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, civil engineering, and how railways operates. So this is 12 weeks. After that, you dive deeper into your area of job. So my job is related to HR of railways. So I would be given 1 month theoretical inputs on what laws are about. You have to follow what is the manuals, what are the codes, and after that there is field training, which is very interesting. So in railways, what they do is they send you to different parts of the country. So 1 week I was at Hubli headquarters, and 1 week I was at Jaipur, then at Howrah, then at Nagpur, and then you go through extensive training into public sector undertakings of railways. So I would go every 2 days at different company. One day I would be at DMRC headquarters, second day Container Corporation of India, then Dedicated Freight Corridor, High Speed Corporation. Like that, all companies of railways, we go to them. Then we went to a lot of trainings. I mean, railways has 8 different institutes. So in each institute, we spent 2 weeks. So 2 weeks we spent learning about signaling system of railways, and like that we go on. And then 1 week is foreign attachment. I was sent to Paris for French railways, and we were there with French railways for 1 week to understand how they are operating their railways. After that, we go through ethics training in Panchgani near Mahabaleshwar, and after that, we were sent to Jammu and Kashmir to look how railways operate there in different difficult circumstances. Then we went to Northeast India in Meghalaya, Assam, all these places to look at the railways. Then we were sent to Integral Coach Factory, Chennai, Rail Wheel Factories, Bangalore. Like that, we cover many parts of the country. And so we did training at CBI also to understand how in vigilance and corruption matters we can collaborate with them. So like that, it's very extensive training, but training is different for different services. And then after that, there is at the end of the day there is examination and you get posted. So there is different training for different services apart from common foundation which you go through at Labasta.
Oh wow! I mean, that's really interesting to hear. I mean, you actually get that on-field experience, like you mentioned, going to Paris, for instance, and seeing how the railway works there. And it's all this is what makes working in the services so unique, which I don't think any other profession out there gives. So now, again, I cannot cover all the questions again as Tarun, and if you guys want, you can always connect with Tarun. But before that, let's have a last question, right? Which is by asked by one of our users. I'm confused of choosing IAS, but my parents see the potential in me and want me to do IAS. So can you tell me how can I spend in this quarantine time? How I can build, the background and knowledge required, and maybe go forward with it. So,
Yes. Uh, I think we are getting repetition of voice, Akash.
so seat number 7. Can you please mute yourself? Seat number 7. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
So, as regarding this is very important that parents are seeing potential in you and you are not able to figure out, and there is quarantine time. So it is the most opportune time, I would say. So you what you do is you start reading something. I mean, you read something about Indian society. You read about newspapers, and you just try to know the world. You can watch some YouTube videos, and you can listen to some past administrators. So you can even listen to the prime minister, what he said on civil services day. So you will get a feeling, what prime minister thinks of civil servants. So that may motivate you. But to find out whether you are suitable, I mean, whether you find civil suitable for you, you decide to read about multiple subjects. So you read about history, geography, you read about the current affairs, and that get a flavor. Are you a person who would just like to know this world a bit and do the job, or you are a kind of person who would more like to either you want to earn more money, then definitely civil services is not for you, or if you want more and more specialized kind of work, then civils is not for you, because here you would be doing more general kind of job, and which any administrator is required to do. So if you are more oriented towards academia or having research bent of mind, please don't come to civils. I mean, there is much more big opportunities which you will have. So find out what's your area of interest is in.